Musicals in the West End come and go all the time, but there are 5 which have stood the test of time since 1985. And in this video, I'm going to tell you everything that you need to know about them and how to see them right now. Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Christina and I'm on a mission to see 52 shows in the West End each year. And this is the channel where I document my journey, share reviews, London tips, and everything else in between. So if you like the sound of it, then make sure to subscribe. We're going to start with the 5th longest running musical in London, and that is Wicked. Wicked premiered in 2006 in London, and ever since it's been one of the hottest tickets to get. However, right now it is gaining its peak popularity due to the movie with Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo, which is an adaptation of this musical on the big screen. And if you haven't seen the movie, you might be wondering, what is Wicked the musical about? And this story is a prequel to The Wizard of Oz, and it follows Elphaba, the Wicked Witch of the West, and Glinda, the Good Witch of the East, and their unexpected friendship. Wicked is an incredible musical about friendship and about accepting differences that we all have as people and using that to really change us for the better and to become better humans ultimately. And it's also a story about self-acceptance, about pursuing your dreams and really not kind of caring about what the people around you are saying if you have your goal and you have your heart in the right place. All of this is combined with an incredibly magical twist because there are different creatures, beautiful costumes, a whole new universe that Wicked draws us in. And not to forget the most amazing music. Wicked has some of the most beloved musical theater numbers such as Defying Gravity, Popular, The Wizard and I, Dancing Through Life. This is one of my favorite musicals and honestly I cannot get enough of it. I often listen to it and it's a show that I regularly go back and see because of how much I love it. It is no wonder that this is one of the longest running West End shows. The 4th longest running musical in London is The Lion King, which premiered in 1999. This famous musical is definitely a classic which everyone loves, and it follows the exact same storyline from the cartoon by the same name, which was released in 1994. The music is written by Elton John and it has also some of the most beautiful songs which are also present in the cartoon, such as The Circle of Life, I Can't Wait to Be the King, Can You Hear the Love Tonight? All of these songs are so ingrained in our memory as some of the most beautiful songs ever written, and you can see them on stage in London. Besides all these musical numbers which everyone loves, the most amazing thing about this production is actually the costumes and the way that the actors are playing these animal characters on stage. When I went to see The Lion King for the first time, I couldn't quite believe my eyes because the actors are using puppets that are also their costumes and they're moving in a very unique way which I have never seen in any other show. The way that the production really brings you to feel the nature and feel like this is actually happening in this land far away where all these wild animals live, it is absolutely mind-blowing and is one of the most beautiful pieces of theater, which is why no wonder is one of the longest running shows. Seeing The Lion King in London is probably one of the most amazing experiences that you can have if you're visiting, especially if you're coming here with family, because this story is something that every single family member can enjoy and relate to, and everyone can have a really, really good time. The 3rd longest running show in London is Mamma Mia, which premiered only a few months after The Lion King, so 1999 was the year for great musicals in London. Mamma Mia is also a really famous story which has been immortalized on the big screen as well, but I think what a lot of people don't know is that Mamma Mia as a movie and as a story originated in the West End, originated very much on stage. As you might be familiar, it uses ABBA songs to create this narrative, and the storyline is following Sophie, who is getting married, but she isn't sure who her dad is because they've never met, and her mom has kept a diary during the time when she was conceived and she spotted 3 people who could potentially be her fathers, so she secretly invites all 3 of them to the wedding, and that's where the story unfolds. Regardless of if you like ABBA songs or not, Mamma Mia is a musical that is guaranteed to bring a lot of uplifting vibes and good energy and colorful scenes into your night. So it's a perfect night out with your friends, with your partner, with a family member, because it also has a really strong story around mother and daughter relationship and how this can evolve and change over time, and how on your big day there is a lot of emotion involved between mother and daughter when this happens. So generally it's just such a nice musical to go and check out because the story is very relatable and also the songs are familiar. So what more to ask for? The 2nd longest running musical in London is The Phantom Phantom of the Opera. This is quite different to Mamma Mia and the rest of the musicals that I talked about, because the Phantom of the Opera has a little bit of moodiness to it, and I love it because of that. It premiered in 1986 and is a musical that's been a staple in the West End for quite some time because it's super unique. The Phantom of the Opera storyline has been popularized in so many different art forms, but it originated as a novel, and then there are multiple movies. But I think what's really interesting about this show is that it's actually based on some rumors from the 19th century, because there was a chandelier incident in the opera house in the 19th century, and also there were some rumors about like ghostly presence in the Paris Opera House. So it's really interesting to know that this story is actually based on some true stories or anecdotes. The story follows this phantom who lives in Paris Opera House and is haunting Christine, who is a soprano in the opera company, and they're trying to put the show on, but he captivates her and doesn't let her go. And it's a story about music and connection with the music alongside this glooming presence of a phantom who ultimately is someone who is a musical genius. And it's almost that relationship with art in some way that is portrayed, which is that push and pull dynamic that artists sometimes feel and have towards their talent and also their skill. So this story can be interpreted in so many different ways, but on the very surface, it's a very entertaining show with a lot of beautiful theatrical elements to it, amazing set and costume design, and it is definitely the show that has that wow factor. And all of this story is told through beautiful music that is very operatic. So this is one of those shows that kind of really blends nicely musical theater as well as some like operatic arias and more of a classical musical vibe. So I think for everyone who is maybe not 100% sold on musicals as an art form, but they like classical music or they like opera, this is a great musical to go and check out. Once you see it, you understand the scale of it and you understand how it's been on for so long and why people still to this day go and see it. It is a great piece of musical theater, and I think a lot of audiences, doesn't matter what their relationship with musicals is, are going to enjoy this piece. And the longest running musical in London is Les Miserables, which premiered in 1985. Despite it being on for such a long time, if you go to see the show tonight, you will still see that the theater is full. There are so many fans from around the world who come to see this musical, and it is such an iconic piece of musical theater history that you must go and see it if you are into musical theater. The story of Les Miserables originated as a novel by Victor Hugo, and it's 1400 pages long. So just putting this into a 3-hour musical is an achievement in itself. But the story follows Jean Valjean in 19th century France, who broke his parole and went on a run, and Javert, who is his ex-guard and his rival, is following him to captivate him. But throughout this journey, you're meeting a lot of different characters from that time in France, which was a very tough time. It was just before the French Revolution and during the French Revolution as well. And there's a lot of poverty, a lot of unfair treatment of people, and just generally it is a gloomy and sad musical about this period in France. There is also a lot of uplifting elements to it, such as what people can do when they unite, and how love and care for someone can really give meaning to your life. And in this particular musical, there are a lot of different ways that people get their meaning from. Some people get it from fighting for their country, some people get it for fighting for their kids, the others for hoping to meet the love of their life again after the revolution is over. So there are so many parallel stories in this musical which make it a very engaging watch. Needless to say that some of the most popular musical theater numbers are exactly from this musical, such as I Dreamed a Dream, On My Own, Do You Hear the People Sing, and many more, which also you might have heard in a movie adaptation of this musical. While Les Mis is the longest running musical, I do think that it is more suited for more serious audiences, so I wouldn't recommend maybe taking your kids to it. So if you would like to witness the musical theater history and the making, you must go and see Les Miserables. But if you are wondering what are my top 5 favorite musicals in London, then check out this video where I'm talking about my favorites of all time.